Let's say right now is 7:30 on the clock. How would you say this in Russian? How would you tell time in Russian? If you do know numbers, then you know that the first number is семь, and then the second number for minutes is тридцать. But how do you properly say it? Is it 7:30? Or should we say 7 hours and 30 minutes, which is 7 часов 30 минут? And would it make a difference if this was 7:30 a.m. or p.m.? A lot of questions, but you will get all the answers today. If you were to tell time in Russian, you would need to know numbers 0 through 60. In Russia, we use military time, which is 24 hours, and you might see a time shown like this, which is 7:22 p.m. or like this, which is 3:55 p.m. But we're not gonna learn numbers 0 through 60 in this video. It will simply take too much time. However, we are gonna attach the files, the table, along with the flashcard deck in the description below. Don't worry, there's no email needed or any of your personal information. It's simply a link to a file. Download it, start practicing the words, and then you're gonna be ready for chapter number 2 of this video, which is full-length time. The full length of telling time is if we have something like this on the clock, 11:30, we say 11 часов 30 минут. 11 means 11, часов means hours, so 11 hours, 30 means 30, and minut means minutes. So we say 11 hours and 30 minutes. That's the full way of telling time. But there's a small catch there. We'd say 11 часов, but let's say if we have 4 o'clock, we would say 4 часа. So часов changed into часа. What is that? Both of them should be plural, right? 11 hours, 4 hours. And that's correct. In Russian, we have 2 ways of forming plural forms. Wait. 2 plurals? There can be more than 1 plural? Why does Russian have to be so complicated? I know. But this one is not too hard. If a number ends on a digit 1, we say час, like 1 час, 1 hour, or 21 час, 21 hours, but still we use час because 21 ends on a digit 1, so we still use час. For numbers ending 2, 3, or 4, we say часа, 4 часа, 23 часа, 4 hours, 23 hours. As you can see, for both of them we have часа. Now for numbers that end on a 0, like 10, 20, 30, 40, for numbers that end on 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, including 11 through 19, we have часов. So anything that ends on a 0, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, we have часов, but we also include 11 through 19 in this category as well. So we have часов for all of those. I can say 6 часов, 6 hours, 12 часов, 12 hours. That's the distinction that we have to take away for us to tell full length of time when it comes to hours. And the same thing is going to happen with minutes. For numbers that end on 1, we say minuta. For numbers that end on 2, 3, and 4, we say minuty. For numbers that end on 0, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 11 to 19, we say minut. So you have all the words that you would need right here on the screen, but let's see how well you've understood this concept, and now you're going to fill in the blank. If we have a time 23:48, which is we have to say 23 hours and 48 minutes. How would you say it? Fill in the blank right here. 23 blank, 48 blank. Fill in these 2 blanks with the proper words. If you said 23 часа and 48 минут, then you were correct. That's what we have to say. Depending on this table right here, you have all the words right here on the screen. So 23 ends on a 3. That's why we have to say часа. 48, 48 ends on an 8. That's why we have to say minut. So that was the full length time, but we Russians, we love to shorten things to make our speech easier. Let's learn how to do that. The first thing to do when you want to shorten the time is just to get rid of all the hours and minute words. So if the time is 4:57, we would have said 4 часа 57 минут, which is 4 hours and 57 minutes. We have to get rid of the hours and minute words. So scratch часа, scratch minut is just 4:57. 4:57, I guess the same logic as in English. Now a quick note here is that whenever you have a time like this with 0 minutes, you're gonna read it as 19:00. So we say 19:00. We don't have to mention any hours or minutes. It's just simply 19:00. Now let's take it a step further and go to the second step of shortening the time. We don't use the 24-hour system in the conversation. Whenever we see a time, yes, it's going to be there, but nobody really says 13 hours and 50 minutes, 17 hours and 40 minutes. We simply shorten it to just simply a 12-hour system. So if the hour is above 12, like let's say 17, we simply subtract 12 from it and we get 5 o'clock, which is 5 p.m. Another example is 20 o'clock or 20:00, right? We subtract the 12 from it and we get 8 o'clock, which is 8 p.m. And if you were to tell time in real life and you see time like this, 18:23, you don't really say 18:23, which is 18:23. You say 6:23, so we shorten that. But wait, if we do this, then the time 6:23 in the morning will also sound like 6:23. That's a problem. Well, we simply add these 4 words: утра, дня, вечера, and ночи, which mean in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and at night. So 18:23 becomes 6:23 вечера. So 6:23 in the evening, and 6:23 in the morning, we say 6:23 утра. And that's how we're going to differentiate between the two. And that's only the beginning of shortening time. Natives go even further than that. And if you want to sound more like a native, join our 8-week intensive Russian course called Be Fluent Camp with the first link in the description. You will learn a whole bunch of vocabulary, listening, speaking, and grammar, of course. We have 3 groups: beginners, intermediate, and advanced. More details like pricing and the start date will be with the first link in the description. Join us now and you will learn a lot. So, natives go even further with shortening time. Let's talk about that right now. Let's learn some more ways to shorten time so your speech will sound more like a native person's speech and be more conversational. Now, this shortening layer deals with minutes, but when minutes are before 30-minute mark. If we have a time like this, 8:05, we can say 8:05, 8:05. But we also say something like this: 5 минут девятого, 5 minutes of the 9th. Wait, why is it 9th? We have an 8 right here. Why do we have to say 9th and not 8th? Well, if we have a time 8:05, that means that 8 hours have already gone by. So now it's the 9th hour. Okay? That's why we have to say 5 минут девятого, the 5 minutes of the 9th hour. It's not 9 hours just yet, it's just simply 5 minutes of that 9th hour. And for you to use this shortening method, you have to know how to say of the X hour, of the 9th hour, of the 1st hour, of the 3rd hour. And here they are. Первого means of the 1st. Второго means of the 2nd. Третьего means of the 3rd. Четвертого means of the 4th. Пятого means of the 5th. Шестого means of the 6th. Седьмого means of the 7th. Восьмого means of the 8th, девятого means of the 9th, десятого means of the 10th, одиннадцатого means of the 11th, and двенадцатого means of the 12th. We don't go any further here because we're only talking about hours in this particular one. And if you remember, we don't go for more than 12 hours whenever we use it in a conversational speech. So we don't have to go on the 13th, 14th hour. We have the 12 hours all right here. Take a screenshot if you need to, but all of these words will be also in a file in the description. So use one of these words to talk about a certain hour and minutes of that hour, like 5 minutes of the 9th, 10 minutes of the 6th. So let's keep going with this concept until we reach the 30-minute mark. That's our cutoff for this chapter. So 8:05, like we said, 5 минут девятого, 5 minutes of the 9th. 8:10, we can say 10 минут девятого, 20 minutes. We say 20 минут девятого. All the way until we reach this number, 8:30. We could have said 30 минут девятого, but it's kind of incorrect. What we shorten it to is just simply пол девятого. So 30 minutes is half of the hour. So this prefix, I guess, пол means half. So half of the 9th. This is the easiest, the shortest way of telling time when it's half of the hour, пол девятого. And some more examples are 4:30 is полпятого, half of the fifth hour. Let's say 19:30 is полвосьмого, which is half of the eighth. Remember that we don't say the 19th and 24 hours when we just simply speak to each other. We have to shorten 19 to just simply 7, 7:30, and then полвосьмого means half of the eighth hour. But that's only before the 30-minute mark. We also have some shortenings after the 30-minute mark. Let's talk about that right now. If we keep on adding more minutes to the clock, we reach 8:35, which in Russian, a short way to say is без 25:9. Без means without. 25 means 25. 9 means 9. So what we're saying is it's 25 minutes to 9 o'clock. Or literally it means it is 9 without 25 minutes, of course. And we can keep going and say без 29 for 8:40, без 15:9 for 8:45, без 5:9, which is 8:55. We can say even без 2:9. It's 2 minutes to 9. The only catch here, the only thing that you need to learn for you to use this shortening kind of technique is you need to learn how the numbers are going to be put in genitive case. If you're familiar with cases, good. If you're not, just simply look up online genitive case for numbers in Russian and you'll find all the forms that are there. Just a few examples. 5 will change into пяти. 20 will change into двадцати. So as you can see, we have the endings kind of change. That's going to be the kind of underlying theme of the cases, and the endings change. And so if you're not familiar with this and you're not comfortable with this, look it up. The theory part of this video is done. Now let's move on to the practical part and compare the full length to the short ways of telling time. And for this part of the video, I'm going to invite my friend Mr. Corrective to come here. Hello guys. Mr. Corrective will mention the full length time and I'll mention the shorter version or more colloquial version that natives will typically use. And this is for you guys to compare the two, to see if you want to go for a longer one or a shorter one, depending on how easy it is to pronounce. Sometimes the pronunciation is key, even though the word can be longer, if it's easy to pronounce, you might still go for it. Let's get started. 8 часов утра. 8 утра. 10 часов 15 минут. 15 минут 11. 13 часов 45 минут. Без 15 2. 15 часов 30 минут. Пол четвертого. 21 час вечера. 9 вечера. That's it. Хорошо. Thank you. Пока-пока. And now you guys know how to use the colloquial version and the longer version. But this one won't be enough for you to have a good conversation with a native. This video will talk about some slang expressions that you guys should check out. Watch this one right now.